Howdy friends, welcome to Classics in Color, your weekly dive into some of the ancient world's wackiest facts. I'm Mark Graves, and Merry Christmas, everyone! Merry Christmas! Today we're actually stretching outside of the ancient world just a tiny bit, depending on how you define it, because we're going to be looking at the Byzantine Empire. I found a story from the Byzantine period that is Christmas themed and also really weird and gross and about testicles, so it fits our theme perfectly. Let's get started. Our story comes from the Miracles of St. Artemius, which is a collection of miracle stories by the St. Artemius. So basically what it sounds like comes from the 7th century AD, and it is written by an anonymous author. Unfortunately, we don't know who he was or any information about him. St. Artemius was an official in the Roman Empire who was martyred during the reign of Emperor Julian, and he apparently specialized in healing people with ailments of the groin area. So our story starts off with a man who's suffering from a severe lung condition who gets admitted to a Christian hospital, and unfortunately they aren't really able to do anything to treat him. So his condition worsens and then it spreads down to his groin genital area, and apparently his testicles get quite swollen and painful. And the people there tell him that unfortunately there's nothing we can really do. We don't know how to treat whatever your problem is. And so they basically just put him on indefinite palliative care. The sick man began to pray fervently to St. John, the patron of his confraternity, and to St. Artemius. "Show your wonder-working power in me," he exclaimed. He made this prayer on Christmas Eve. When he fell asleep, Artemius appeared in a dream, but disguised as the man's friend who worked in the office of the Saint Prefect of Constantinople. Artemius removed the bandages, pulled out a scalpel, and merely touched the right testicle with the instrument. In the dream, the man raised his head to see that he was healed. When he awoke, however, he still had the great swelling in his testicles, but a stream of fluid was issuing from a small hole in the right testicle where the scalpel had touched it in the dream. Since it was Christmas Eve, all of the workers in the hospital had left for the night except for one assistant who was asleep on the job, and apparently while he was asleep, he had a dream where he was instructed to go check specifically on this guy with the swollen testicles. Once he gets there, he uncovered the patient and found that a thin ribbon of viscous fluid was coming out of the small incision in the right testicle. With his fingers, the assistant pulled out of the opening more and more fluid, pus, and blood. He extracted 2 buckets full of discharge. Then he cleaned the wound according to the principles of medical science. The assistant then applied topical medicines following specific instructions that Artemius had given him in the dream. The following day, while the archiatros was making his rounds of the patients together with this same assistant, the physician came to the patient with the swollen testicles. When he removed the sheets and examined the man, he was amazed to see the patient's condition was improving. In 30 years of practice, he had never seen such a radical change in a patient with a supposedly incurable condition. Later on, they revealed their dreams to one another, and both realized that the healing was a miracle obtained through the intercession of St. Artemius. 2 buckets of pus, you guys. Two. I'm going to go throw up in a minute, but first let me just say that right there, that is the true Christmas spirit. That is why we do this. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Special thank you as always to subscribers and to Patreon members, and if I haven't turned you off forever, I hope to see you all again next week. Howdy.